Alright, so before we talk about the maps and their subsequent info, we first need to talk about some of the general tips and tricks that I myself and many other top level players use to get the most out of our games. I'll for the most part just be listing them out and have this be its own video and have the map based videos in the future, assuming I can keep myself motivated to do this project. But yeah, here we go! So to start things off, let's talk about movement. When running around the map, it is ever so slightly faster to sprint instead of sprinting and jumping. This is due to the speed 2 effect given to all players, which has minimal effects when you are dealing with the jump mechanic. And speaking of jumping, it's probably for the best not even to jump at all, unless you need to cover slightly more distance before the round ends. For instance, let's say you're rushing to a spot and you're not sure if you can make it there in time. You can use the jump mechanic to squeeze a tiny bit more distance if you time your jump at the last second before all the colors disappear. This is an extremely useful tactic in later games, and if mastered, will allow you to get away with a lot more situations than I can count. Up next, we have positioning. So, in summary, it goes like this. A map is selected, and you have a few seconds to get to your spot of choice before the color is selected, and you have to find the color before time runs out, and all colors except for the chosen color disappears. There is a given best spot for every single map, but a good portion of them are away from the middle of the map. Now I want to make it clear that staying in the middle is not the best place to be. You should try to navigate as close to the middle as possible once a color is picked, simply because the best spots are all around the map, as I may have already said. So it's important that you stay near the middle once a round ends so that you have the ability to reach those spots. It's pretty simple when you think about it. Next up, a couple of just quick fast running tips. Turning off particles is helpful focus. Using third person, aka F5, allows you to see more of the map around you. And on certain maps where everything is right in front of you, it might be easier to just go first person so you can focus on the colors in front of you. Also, feel free to turn off players if you find them too distracting. You can try and stand on 4 blocks at once, each with a different color, to give yourself a chance of success if you're not sure what you're doing or where you're going. If you're feeling bold, just before the map resets, you can jump off your spot and get a head start towards where you want to go next. Just be aware that if you mistime it, you'll die. Now, I also need to tell you this now. It's going to be hard. At first, if you're new, trying to get to round 22, it's going to be hard. I myself took around like 50,000 points before I could even make it to round 22. It's tough, and sometimes luck will decide your fate. It happens. Now, to me, there are two main strategies you can use on a given map. The first one is go to your spot, or you can just follow your opponent. On most of the maps, I have a pre-selected spot I always go to. So I use the strategy on early rounds. However, as the rounds go up and your accessible space goes down, and luck begins to play more and more of a role, it might be a good idea to just follow your opponent, giving both of them, a same chance of survival or defeat. I find it very frustrating to lose to luck, and I'd much prefer to lose based on if I can't react well enough. In tournaments, you'll often see me doing this practice. And the last thing I really want to talk about is the art of reference points. Reference points allow you to understand where you are on any given map. So, for example, I always reference spawn, where we spawn in. By referencing spawn, I am able to see not only where I am on a given map, like if I'm to the right of spawn, then I know I'm on the right side of the map, I guess. But I'm also able to figure out where I want to go. So real quick, let me just wait for a round to be selected. Alright, this one isn't really all that helpful. This one isn't really all that helpful. It's too symmetrical. It's too symmetrical. Alright, let's try the next one. Okay, so based on this map, I know I need to be on this side over here. This is where the best spot is. And I used spawn to help me reference that. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Anyhow, that's just about wraps up the tips and tricks video. Expect more videos in the future about the art of block party. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.